Bomba-data, 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 bomba-data,
Hey there, everybody.
Happy trails, everybody.
Happy trails to you. How are you?
Yeah. How is everybody out there? Welcome again to Happy Trails Podcast. I'm Dr. Blaine McLaughlin, and I have with me Dr. Matt Bynum, and we are a couple dentists. You know, I noticed that, I thought of that the other day, Matt. We don't really introduce ourselves very well. So if somebody joins in the middle of these podcasts and don't start at the beginning, they don't know who the hell we are.
So let's start over.
Hey.
Hey, we've got our radio voice on, and
Right.
I want to introduce my partner, Dr. Blaine McLaughlin from Robbins, Iowa.
And with me, we have Dr. Matt Bynum from Greenville, South Carolina. Welcome to our podcast, Happy Trails. We are a couple dentists who have decided to phase out of dentistry and phase into multifamily real estate, so we can provide some passive income and wealth for our families
And ourselves.
and yeah, ourselves too. Yeah,
Don't leave us out of that equation.
That's true. So there we go. Here we are. And so we started this podcast to help teach people, and because we want you guys to learn with us, and want to help you out as best we can. And dentistry, that's kind of what we do, is all our whole careers. All we're doing is trying to help people make them better, and so they can live better lives. And we can do the same thing with multifamily real estate.
Absolutely.
Right on.
Well said.
Thank you. It's first time.
Yeah.
Hey,
talk about our listenership and viewerships really starting to jump up.
Yeah. Actually, YouTube is starting to go a little bit on the crazy side.
Yeah, kind of cool.
You know, that was kind of our last thing. We got into like Spotify and Apple Podcasts initially, and then we're like, well, we better get a YouTube thing going. So Happy Trails Real Estate is the YouTube channel to search for. But yeah, the listenership there has kind of gone up a lot. So that's cool. Maybe a little traction going here. A little traction.
Yeah, man, love it. So hey, if you're out there and you've shared the podcast or you've liked it and shared it with your friends on your sites or whatever, thank you so very much. And we encourage you to do the same thing every week.
Yes, please do it. Help everybody.
If you're new, welcome, and you do the same, or Blaine will find you.
I'll come after you, man.
He's mean, man. He can be mean. Let me tell you.
So yeah, we're just a couple real guys, and we're going to talk about our experiences and what we've learned. And today, actually, we're going to relate it back to dentistry. So today we're going to. There's a lot of things we've learned in the dental field. And not just dentistry. And you guys are all you people are all going, fixing teeth, you fix a tooth, you replace a tooth, you pull teeth, whatever. No. We're talking about running the practice, which is something they never taught us in school. Not a freaking lick of anything on how to run a dental practice and how to run a business. And so we've had to learn that on our own. And we're going to talk to you about a lot of the things that we've learned in running our multi-million-dollar dental practices are going to help us be successful in our real estate careers moving forward. And so we're going to roll through those.
Yeah, and we got a great question from last week that's going to kind of tie into that, Blaine. So at the end, we'll take that question and it'll just feed off of what we're talking about. But you know, Blaine's absolutely right. We've worked so hard at learning dentistry and working on teeth. And yes, dentistry is absolutely about working on teeth and things like that. But there's so much more than just crushing teeth. You know what I mean? It's really about the business end. It's about communication. It's about employees. It's about all of that. And not once did we learn any of it in any of our dental education whatsoever. I mean, if we went to some seminar or something that was outside of dental school, people would look at you like, why would you do that?
And on that note, Matt, if you go to a dental education class and it's not about clinic dentistry, it doesn't count towards your continuing education hours.
No, not at all. Even though it's probably the most important thing that you can do, because, the fact of the matter is yes, we're dentists, we work in teeth, but we run a business just like everybody else that's running a business out there. So this is exactly what we're going to relay today and how it corresponds with multifamily real estate.
Yep.
Boom.
Bam. There you go.
Boom.
Woo.
Just put the mic up here. No one can see it.
Yeah. If
So
you're on YouTube,
I had to drop it down. I had to drop it down and boom.
You should grab your actual real mic. Mine's like
boom.
Bam. Okay. Right on.
You know, the truth is Blaine and I just like looking at each other on the camera and laughing.
we go way back. We go way back to dental school, for those of you who don't know. So
God.
it's been 30 years we've been working on, started working on teeth. So
that's more than half of my life. Did you know that?
Yeah, sure did.
And it's a lot more than half of your life.
Yeah. Right on.
All right, rock on. Let's lead the charge, man. Lead the charge.
Well, the first thing, we talk about, hey, when's the best time to get involved and why should you get involved in real estate? And the first thing you got to do is get over your fear. So most people don't do things because they're afraid. And typically they're afraid of not knowing what's coming, right? They're afraid of the outcome because they don't know. And I think, isn't that Tony Robbins? Doesn't he talk about how every decision you make is gaining pleasure or avoiding pain? Fear would be considered pain. And so everything you do, you're trying to avoid pain. And there's a big fear of the unknown. A lot of people don't know what's out there. And so they are stuck with where they are. And so when you're scared and you don't do anything, I mean, you're going to procrastinate. There's going to be some self-doubt. You're not going to believe in yourself. I mean, there's a lot of negatives that come to that. And so we're trying to encourage everybody, hey, we're here to help, and we can help you get through this. We can help you get past that fear, and move on, right? And start investing, start educating yourself, get going somehow. And you got to take the step. And I was driving my son to college, dropping him off this week.
Was that in Lames?
That was the Iowa State University in Lames, Iowa.
Lames, Iowa.
Go Hawks.
If you're from Lames, all we have to say is go Hawks.
We appreciate you. Go Hawks. I mean, they did beat us in football last year, so we can't dog them too much because they got the upper hand. But that's not happening this year.
No.
Anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm driving him to Ames, and we're going through this road that it's kind of a major highway, and it goes from Cedar Rapids to Ames, which is about an hour and a half. And it's been 2-lane. When I was growing up, we used to drive on it. It was just a 2-lane highway, and it was always really busy. And they talked about making it 4 lanes. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. Well, here we are. This is 30 some years later. They're finishing up the last segment of the 4-lane. Should be done probably next year based on what I could tell. But I'm looking at 30 freaking trucks and all this stuff, hauling dirt and trying to level the ground and packing it down, and they're taking the old road and they're crumbling it up into gravel so that it can be a base for the new road. And I'm driving watching this for 10 miles, and I'm like, wow, to me that's overwhelming. Can you imagine how much dirt they have to put in this area right here? Because it's 30 feet, 40 feet below where I am. They're going to level that off. And it's a daunting task. I'm like, how in the world? And then I thought, that's kind of like the real estate journey we're on. People are like, how in the world am I going to do all this? Well, it's one step at a time, one truckload of dirt. Have you ever heard the analogy, Matt? How do you eat an elephant?
One truckload at a time?
No. One bite at a time.
Oh, one bite.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yes, I've heard that. Actually.
Yeah. And so our real estate journey is just one step at a time. If you look and you're like, how am I going to get to, being an owner in 2,000 units? There's no way. That's just it. you almost freeze out of fear, right? But you got to start taking a step. Take one step at a time, one step at a time, take another step. And eventually you'll get where you want to go if you're persistent and keep rolling.
I think you're touching on something. Fear is the one thing that'll stop you dead in your tracks. You're absolutely right. I mean, if anybody out there is in the dental profession, you know exactly what we're talking about, that fear has been a divisive force in your success, I'm sure. Why would I want to spend that money? Am I sure I'm going to gain that money back? Why do I want to invest in the technology? Why do I want to market? Why do I want to add another hygienist, another dental assistant, another doctor, another room, another blah, 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 blah? Well, same thing when it comes to investing, right? Why do I want to add more to my portfolio? Why do I want to invest in this one more fund? Why do I want to take part in this one more apartment complex? Well, I think before you can do that, you also have to have some clear goals. You got to have some things that you're working towards, like Blaine starts our show every time saying who we are and why we got involved in this and why we
Well,
decided to do a podcast.
we're gonna do that from now on. We're gonna do that from now on. We haven't done it. We're gonna say who we are from now on.
Yeah. Maybe we started it and then we kind of tapered off. But the truth is we're trying to better ourselves, to position ourselves and our families so that we can be better off, so we don't have to sit behind that dental chair the entire time. Because the truth of the matter is, my body's not going to make it. The fact of the matter, I've been doing this for right at about 30 years, and my back is wore out. And by this point, I have friends in the dental profession. They've already been out for 5, 6, 7 years for whatever reason. So, the fact that Blaine and I are still going means a lot, because, we're still able to withstand, or at least just take the pain. You know what I mean? But yeah. So you're right. Baby steps, one bite at a time, one step at a time, whatever it takes. But at some point, you got to pull the trigger. You can't let fear override everything. You have to pull the trigger. And for me, being at that first Brad Sumrock course, where I had no idea what I was going to hear, I went eyes open, ears open. And within about 30 minutes, I started getting mad. I got to tell you, I was getting pissed. And I could feel myself getting mad, not necessarily at the dental profession, and not so much getting mad at just myself, but getting mad that this is not being taught to everybody. And then later I realized why it's not being taught to everybody. And that's because it's like a secret, people. You want to invest and turn some numbers to help people and help yourselves. Real estate is the one thing that has withstood the test of time over and over and over. This is the true way to invest for your future. And after about halfway through the first day of that Sumrock event, there was a lunch, and I remember sitting there just stewing. And I raised my hand, and I'm not somebody that at an event like that, I'd be like, hey, I want to talk to people. I really don't. You'd think that maybe that's not true, but I don't. And I remember sitting there and I raised my hand. I said, I'm pissed, because here I am. I've been busting my butt for nearly 30 years. And just when I thought that I've been doing the right thing, because we were told, invest with your financial advisor, they'll be the ones to direct you. And yes, the stock market is the best way to do it. I heard this just recently with somebody. The stock market's the best place. And yeah, you just got to ride the wave. It kind of just, this over time, this is what it does. And they're right, over time it does. But for the last several years, I've been down here. Where's my down, way down here. And you know what? I don't know when the time is to come up, because right now the rates and everything aren't looking too great. People have lost money. I've lost money. Blaine's lost money. It doesn't look too profitable for me. And that not only grips me with a little bit of anger, but for a lot of people, that should grip them with a little bit of fear. Is what's on the other side? Well, I'm finally taking control of it. Blaine's taking control of it. The fear is no longer a part of our future. And what we're going after is finally deciding to take that step. Yes, it starts with passively investing in probably a few properties, but then we move from passive investors into partners, and then we're doing our own deals. And this is exactly the progression that happens. Nobody stepped in and said, hey, I'm going to be an apartment guru and just buy this apartment complex. Well, maybe some crazy people.
Some people probably have, yeah.
Some people would make sense, but to learn the process along the way is the most important thing. And meeting people in the game and understanding how it works, it's the baby steps. And Blaine, you're absolutely right. Step out of the fear, and take this first step, take the first bite.
That's first bite of that elephant. Yep.
Like Kobayashi.
Oh shoot. Okay. So here's I think I got 6 things listed here. We may do 6, we may do 7, 8, I don't know.
We may do 3.
We maybe do 3, yeah. They may mold together. Different things that we've learned in dentistry that we need in multifamily real estate. And you've heard us talk about this every single podcast. Number one, relationships. Relationships are so key. And, I look back at a successful dentist, number one, not only are they clinically adequate, right? But typically you're not going to have a lot of patients who sit there and look at the margin of the filling and the polish and all that and go, oh yeah, you're a great dentist. I want you to do that again because it polished really nice. They're what they're looking for is somebody that freaking cares. And I mean, so they're looking for a relationship, and you got to form these relationships with people. And that's one of the things I think I'm pretty good at, is being able to find the good in almost everybody and work on that, and be friendly and kind and caring to anybody that walks in, even if they're coming in and they're pissed or whatever, and they're a jerk. I always try to make them laugh. I'm always kind of calm and cool and say, hey, we'll get through this. And so relationships with your patients, they're going to go tell their friends. And that's how a dental practice is, it grows. And that's the main way mine has grown over the years.
Yep. Hey, I always say we're not in the teeth business. We're in the people business.
Yeah, totally.
We're in the people business. It just happens to work on teeth. So
yep.
100% behind you. Relationship, not only with the public and the community and the patients at large, but you got to be able to do the same thing with the team that's driving your force. If you don't develop relationships with the people that are running your business game, you ain't got a business game. I assure you. So you look at the people that are successful. It's the people that treat others the way they'd want to be treated. And one of the coolest parts of the real estate that I've learned, Blaine, in regards to relationship is the sense of community that you're helping to grow and build in the people that are in the apartment complexes. That to me is the one thing that I didn't even realize that was really part of it. I was just like, hey, we can invest and make some money. This is great.
Right.
But part of being a dentist, because we love helping people and we love inspiring and doing things like that for other people because we care. Well, in the investment game, the multifamily game is no different. We get to do the same thing in apartment communities that affect, lots of people, 150, 250, 300 doors of people. So that's exciting. And 100% behind you.
Yeah, you got to build those relationships. And of course, in the real estate world, relationships with investors, like which we're doing right now. We're building that with you guys, relationships with brokers, attorneys, insurance people, all that stuff. Management companies. There you go. Man, I need to start drinking more.
Company.
So building relationships is key. I mean, that's obviously number one. So number two, one of the things that we do a lot in our practices is we leverage people. So our coworkers are obviously trained in specific areas. Dental assistants work with helping us with the patient. Dental hygienists deal with cleaning the teeth and educating on hygiene. We have business receptionists and stuff like that who help check people in and collect the money. They're all involved in this. And so our practices, I have 12 employees in my dental practice. Matt,
woo,
how many you got?
I got 9, 10 including me.
Okay. So I mean, and of course we can't do all that. I mean, I suppose we could probably do all that. Actually, my dad is a dentist and he cleaned a lot of teeth, and that's just how he wanted to do it. But we're looking at growing things a little bigger and better from our perspective. And so we are using these people and their skills to build a practice. And so I would consider that leveraging our coworkers, and we're not taking advantage of them. We're creating a good environment for them. We're both freaking, as you guys know, we're awesome and super fun. And can you imagine working for us?
Just ask us.
Just ask us how great it is, because it's it's awesome, no doubt. Yeah,
we are so great. Just ask us.
Oh man, so that goes with, I mean, in the real estate world, you got to be able to leverage people. Again, not only build those relationships, but use those skills those other people have. Some people are really good at underwriting, and they're really good at numbers. Matt doesn't. He looks at a page of numbers, and like his eyes cross, and he starts frothing at the mouth. He can't figure it out, And so some people are good at that. Some people aren't. Some people are good at talking to other people, relating to other people. And so you gotta be able to leverage the people that know their specific spot. And everybody has a role, right? Everybody's got a role in our office. Everybody's got a role in the real estate business if you're putting a deal together. So I think I put this example down about a beehive. Everybody, you've seen all these hives of bees, right? And these bees will freaking follow their queen anywhere she goes, and they're like, I mean, it's crazy. I just find it fascinating. Nature is fascinating in general, but all the bees have a specific role, right? Some of them make the honey, right? Some of them clean the queen, some of them build the nest, and they all have a specific role. And so that's how these beehives get built, and that's why we can enjoy delicious honey. Matt's just laughing over there.
Where did that analogy come from?
It's
I want to
great, isn't it?
know, what is the transfer between the bee and who's that cleans the bee? Who cleans the doctor? What's happening? What? Got him.
Oh man.
Okay, so
You guys understand. That's a great metaphor.
That's a. If you really like that metaphor, let us know
in the comments below.
If you're thinking after hearing this that you're like, what in the hell did Blaine say? Just let us know that too, because
man,
everything comes off the cuff. It's off of the top of the dome here. We spit it out. Sometimes we stutter like Blaine did. Who knows? It just happens the way that it happens. But yeah, leveraging other people. Yes. Blaine in particular is talking about the GP team that, some people are good with numbers. Some people are good with relationships. Some people are good at raising capital, all those things. I want to take that even further. Leveraging, not only are we leveraging other people, we're leveraging other people's money. Because the truth of the matter is, if we're going to get involved in kind of investing, it involves money. And I think utilizing other people who are also in the same position, those of you that we're talking to that are in need to put money somewhere that's going to grow, you have to know, like, and trust the people that are directing you and leading you. And you're going to place your money with those people, so that way you can leverage your money to then double it, triple it, do whatever it's going to do, rather than sit somewhere and lose. So we're not only leveraging other people, we're leveraging their money, and we take that very seriously. I mean, I think any quality GP group, their first intent is to grow money for their investors. And,
it should be.
And,
it better be.
And we're starting with the first place that you probably would start would be as an LP or a passive investor, a limited partner. And the way that you do that is you find somebody just like Blaine and I, or some of the people that we've put our faith and trust and money in, and leveraged ourselves and our money with other people to do the very same. And we're watching our money grow, and we're watching the complexes take off. So we're at that early stage where we're starting to see these things expand. So as we grow, we get to share that with you. And that's the greatest thing I think about this podcast, is we get to take you on the journey with us, whether you've jumped into the courses with us or not. And you get to see the pitfalls that we've fallen into, and the highs and the lows and every bit of it. So absolutely leveraging other people. Love it.
Yeah. And you mentioned the money too. That's one on the list too. You got to be able to use good debt, right? Everybody hears the word debt. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people hear the word debt and they're like, oh man, I don't want to get in debt. I need to get out of debt. Don't ever do it. It's bad. Don't ever borrow money. Pay it all off. Well, in some instances, that's good. Sometimes you can use it to your advantage. In the dental world, there's a lot of times I've taken out a loan to buy a piece of equipment or something like that because I know it's going to make a better process and it's going to help my patients better. And so I'll take that loan out and I'll use it to help the patients. And in return, I can be more profitable as well. And so you're leveraging the good debt in dentistry to maybe do that. I mean, and there's also in real estate, right? You're leveraging good debt from the bank or lending agency to help increase the value over time by using their money instead of yours.
I believe it was in Jerry Maguire where he said, help me, help you. Help me, help you. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've got to have that good debt. You've got to have the money to be able to back that and support that. But it all stems from the beginning, like we started with relationship. So, another way we can leverage in our dental practices, Blaine, is through technology.
Yeah.
So same thing in our dental practices applies to multifamily. So I'll give you, for instance, there is equipment out there in dentistry that will actually take an impression of your tooth. It'll make the crown. Then the dentist can put it in your mouth. We actually have equipment out there right now that you can put inside your mouth. It will detect where it needs to go. It will drill into your mouth where the implant is supposed to go, and it'll place the implant without you being a part of it. Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
technology.
assuming you have no teeth, everybody. Just
yeah. That's assuming, well, you can do it with teeth too.
Can you?
Yeah, it can register single. Yeah.
Single implants. Wow.
That actually what it assumes is that you have a very still patient. So no, but the whole point is that technology is there to advance the profession and to help the patients, just like you mentioned earlier. Same thing applies with multifamily. Two ways I think about this, and you can chime in, is two ways to think about technology is how to analyze the properties and things using Analyzer, the technology that's involved in that. I'll let you speak on that. And the other thing is the technology that you're providing to the particular investments in the multifamily investments opportunities, apartment complexes. How about a technology package that you're updating for somebody in an apartment complex? They're used to just sticking that key in the hole and 4 deadbolts and one of those locks that comes over and slides that you can pick and do all those things. What about technology that's using your phone now, where you pop your phone up to the deadbolt and it opens it? Things like that you can walk in and say, Alexa, turn on my thermostat down to 67. So things of that nature. There are so many things at our disposal that will improve the quality of a complex, that allows rent rates to go up and allows modern conveniences for people that would never be able to afford the modern conveniences. Crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, the analyzer stuff, I mean, just not only that, to take all the numbers and put them in a spreadsheet. And I was talking to one of our friends who does a lot of investing, and she was telling me that she spent like $15,000 on an analyzer, and that's just like, again, a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And that's just because it's needed, and to do all this, so you get the proper numbers and you can get good projections. But you're also using technology, or there's this thing called the internet that is out there. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but
I don't trust the internet.
You can find, how much information can you find on that? I mean, that gives us the opportunity from Iowa and South Carolina to invest in, say, Texas, and we can find rental comps down there, just sitting at our desk. We can find management companies and brokers and stuff like that, and we don't have to actually be present there. So that stuff's all good. You got to leverage technology to help you move forward. Okay, next, I think the last one I had, and maybe Matt will add something, maybe he won't. But
you never know.
Right, you never know. Hold on, don't leave yet. Don't flip that dial.
Hold my beer. Watch this.
You got to be able to leverage a mentor, right? I mean, that's how many times you heard that? You hear that almost as much as you hear, you got to have good relationships. I hear mentor, 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 and that's been so key in the dental world for me, and in the real estate world as well. You know, I go back to dentistry, and I actually have the pleasure of one of my mentors I'm on the podcast with right here. This guy has taught me so much and led me down so many roads in dentistry that's made my office better, made my practice better, and made me a better person. That it's inspiring. He's an inspiring guy. You should
Thank you,
listen to him.
man.
When he talks, you should freaking listen to him, because
That makes me feel good. That made that I felt a extra beat in my heart right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's special.
Well,
Thank you, man.
it's true. You
Thank
taught a lot of classes, and I mean, I think my first big dental course was out at LVI, and we were learning. I was learning how to do veneers, and Matt was my instructor. So
long time ago. I think
yeah.
I forgot so many things along the years, but yeah, mentorship starts, for me, it started with the person that I joined practice with in dentistry, Craig Carlson in San Antonio, Texas. And you want to know the crazy thing? Here we are almost 30 years later, and Craig Carlson's the one that brought me and got me involved in multifamily real estate. Got me involved with Brad Sumrock's group, and getting involved in one of the deals that I'm now co-GP on. So
San Antonio deal, yeah.
Yeah, the San Antonio. So it's something that you never know the impact you're going to have with people, and I think that the thing that goes along with mentorship is always wanting to be better and grow, and always be willing to share yourself in a very transparent fashion. I think if somebody's doing so in a fashion that's deceptive, then you're not going to be attracted to that person, and you're certainly not going to want to follow what they're saying. But I believe in finding great people and spending time with great people, which is why I hang out with that guy right there when I can. And, he said, I make him a better person. He makes me a better person. He keeps me in line, and he keeps me wanting to grow more, because as he grows, I grow. And, in the end, we've decided that at the end of our lives, we want to be together with our families in our lives. You know what I mean? And we've been together for a long, long time through dental school, and our other friends that we hang out with, and that's who we want to spend time with. And that's what means the most to us. But, finding out the mentor to follow, serving as a mentor for others. I'm doing the same in my practice now, in my dental practice with an associate. You've done the same with your associate. So it means an awful lot to do all those things, for sure. I was going to take a little side note. I was reading something earlier today, and this applies to multifamily, but the number of homeless people around the country has surged to an all-record pace, reaching new peaks in the number of cities, is up this year, surged 11%. Ooh. The normal homeless rate is usually increasing at about 2.7%. This year so far, it's up by 11%, which translates into 577,000 people. Now, you take everything that we just talked about. Can we have any influence at all in potentially developing and growing communities to get some of these 577,000 people off the street and into apartments? Is it possible that we can have an impact on those around us that we're working with to change this number? I think it's absolutely mind-boggling. I say mind-boggling. Is your mind gets all confused?
Mind-boggling to me, but maybe it's bottling to you.
It's mind where your mind gets all confused, like in a bottle. That's a Step Brothers Academy Award-winning movie quote. So if you're not familiar, go watch it. Oh, and by the way, who's got your money? No, but this is up in California. I read this. This is crazy. California houses half of the nation's homeless population.
Holy cow.
Is that insane?
Wow.
I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wow. Denver has seen a 32% surge since last year. New York hit a record high with 100,000 people in shelters, doubling since 2021. Again, why multifamily real estate, people? This is really simple. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. Rates are astronomical, coming up, coming down, whatever the case. The requirements now to get a loan to buy a house are becoming even increasingly more difficult. And if you were able to acquire the financing to get a home, can you sustain the payments every month to maintain the home, especially with what's happening with inflation, with rates, and everything else? There is such a shortage of apartment complexes in the country. Sumrock said this. I've read this in other newsletters and other places. It's not just one person saying this.
No, they're all saying it.
This is
At least
across
for the next decade.
Yes, across the board. So they're also moving now into build to rent homes, much like instead of building an apartment complex, they're building communities of homes where you go in and rent the home. And you don't have the option to buy it, just to rent it, because some people want to have the ability to have a home as opposed to have an apartment complex. But it has to start somewhere. These people cannot afford the homes, so they're looking for apartment complexes. Check it out for yourself. But this is exactly why Blaine and I have gotten into this. And just reading this morning, I was thinking, man, can we really have an impact on other people that's much bigger than just developing a better investment for us? And this is the altruistic form that we talk about. We're leveraging people, but yes, we're helping so many others get their lives together. And that was the community thing we talked about earlier. And I don't know, it's really cool to be a part of something like that. So just a little side note. Thought I'd add that.
Nice addition, Matt. That's an interesting fact. Wow, California, half the freaking
It's crazy. I was reading this thinking, no way. It's insane.
Wow.
Insane.
Wow.
Anyway.
All right. Well, those are some of the things that I've learned in dentistry that we can use to build our real estate portfolio and our real estate team. And unless Matt has something else to add, we'll get to our question.
No, let's hit the question.
I think you had a question. And
yeah. So the question we got was this. Dear Matt and Blaine, I'm a fellow dentist, and I know a lot of what you're talking about and how you feel, at least translate over your podcast, with running a business and wondering where your money is. Why would I, as a dentist, invest in real estate, and especially multifamily real estate? That's a great question. So what's really cool is we were talking about dentistry today. So I think that in itself is how it links in. But I'll answer, and then I'll let Blaine give his 2 cents. But I think why real estate? Well, I said it earlier. Real estate has been the one thing that's been proven over the test of time much better than the stock market. It's been consistently across the board. We're not making any more land. At least I don't. Well, the only place that they're making more land is in Hawaii, and that's when the lava comes up. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. But outside of that, God ain't making any more land. So it is what it is, but the population continues to grow. So guess what, people? I think there are ways to increase your investment potential for yourself and your families. And that is through real estate. Number one. Number two, why multifamily real estate? Well, that's why we have this podcast, people, because you can leverage money, you can leverage people, you can leverage time, you can leverage all the things that we mentioned today that associate with your business and what you do for a living, and you can put it into the multifamily market and still come out ahead by helping others to grow and giving them potential to have a life at the same time as doing the same thing for yourselves and your investors. So I'm just a firm believer that multifamily has become a mainstay for me, that once dentistry finally ends and we're trying to figure out how to land this plane so we can still ride off into the sunset. But even to do so, we still have to have a living somewhere, because my 401k didn't cover me, that's for sure. And we know Blaine's shared his, it ain't covering him either.
3%. 3%.
Yeah. So we've got to have an avenue. And for the dentist that wrote this question in, this is going to prove to be your avenue. I assure you. Jump in the rabbit hole with us. Keep listening every week. Write questions. Hell, if you got the chance to come to Dallas with Blaine and I, that's still option. So come with us, people. Contact us and just come. And if you're going and you haven't told us, make sure you come up and see us during the event, introduce yourself, and be glad to sit down and talk and maybe have a drink or something like that. But that's the answer I'd give. What about you?
Yeah, no, that covered a lot of it. Real estate has a tendency to be recession resistant, not maybe recession proof, but recession resistant. So we got a lot of inflation over the last year, 2 years in the world, and so that hurts a lot of people because prices going up. Well, if you look at rents in general tend to follow inflation. So so you can hedge that a little bit. If you're in this multifamily thing. So it's not, again, I've seen the stock market go up and down, and it's totally seems to be emotional with the economy. But there are some things built into real estate if it's done right, especially multifamily, where you can ride those waves a lot easier. And so again, that's one of the reasons I've decided to go full bore into this. And again, it's so enlightening and so refreshing to hear about the people that you can help in these communities. Again, it's not, I didn't even think about that when I started in this, and all of a sudden they're talking about, hey, we're gonna make this pool really nice. We're gonna have a barbecue area for the families. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, man. That's awesome. And have events and stuff like that. And it's super cool that we can do stuff like that. So
there's always something much bigger than ourselves, isn't there?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
even bigger than you.
Yeah. Well, that's big.
Because
sometimes you got to reach to find it. But hey, but big is getting smaller.
It's not smaller.
It's not as big as before.
Cold plunge.
Cold plunge is working.
Hey, I had a guy. We had a carpet cleaner come, and he cleaned the carpets in the house, and we haven't seen him for a while. And he's like the nicest freaking guy in the world. And so he sent me a text or something. He's got this signature on his text, and it says American carpet cleaning, or I think all American carpet cleaning, and cold plunge master. And I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? And I forgot yesterday I was going to send him a text and go, all right, Bill, what the heck's up with this cold plunge thing? And I gotta see what he does, what he has to say about that.
You gotta find out.
Because I just threw me for a loop.
I'm going to change my title. Matt Bynum, dentist and cold plunge extraordinaire.
On your signature.
Listen, I got a friend that just jumped on. He started jumping on the cold plunge wagon, and he said he converted a freezer, right? Because that's one way to do this stuff. If you don't want to spend money, you convert a freezer. And he's converted a freezer, and he said, I've spent less than $200. And I'm thinking to myself, I wouldn't even fit in that damn thing. I don't know how you're going to fit in there, but anyway, so he said he's been in it, and I said, well, what was the temperature you went in? He says, man, it was like 52 degrees or something. And I said,
man.
Well, I said, real men plunge.
That's cute. That's
real
cute.
Real men plunge below 40. This morning we were Luke and I, we plunged because John went back to school. Like you dropped Caden off in Lames, and we dropped John off in Clemson. But we were 35 degrees this morning. It's terrible.
How long were you in it?
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
I'll see if I can do a minute or two, man, when I get there for Thanksgiving.
So update, because I didn't have an update last Monday. Down 22 pounds.
22.
I'm in the 270s now, baby.
Wow.
Down 22, 7 inches off the stomach.
All right.
4 inches off the chest, and 1.5 inches off the waist. How about that?
All right, man.
One day you're going to look in the screen, people. You're going to go, is that Blaine or is that Matt?
Which? Who?
Which one's which?
Fantastic.
Anyway,
cool. All right.
Cold plunge. Jump in. Hey, what an episode, man! Thanks for spending the late morning with me, dude.
It's I don't even know.
What time is it?
It's noon here.
Oh well,
so
I'm hungry.
It's afternoon for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever it is.
Right on. Hey, go have some honey on a sandwich.
Yeah.
Because and then think about how that honey was made in that beehive.
I am going to think so differently about bees forever.
Man.
So, yeah. Hey,
the organization.
Chime in down below. Chime in. Hey, for us, happy trails.
Yes. Share and like our podcast. Let's get this out there. Share it with other people. Next week we will be together. and might be a little different
Yes.
next week. We're not sure how next week's going to roll, but we'll be in Dallas. And
Yes.
so, maybe we'll do a bunch of little video interviews or something with some people down there. That's kind of what I'm hoping.
Yeah, excited to bring some of that info to you guys, and maybe we'll film some of the event and at least showcase what it looks like.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
some little clips or something like that. That'd be cool.
Right
So,
on.
hey, love you guys. Have a great weekend. Be awesome, and happy trail.
Happy trails.
Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think